So this is the reason why Pakistani trucks don't need to replace their batteries. For instance, when faced with a lead-acid battery whose storage capacity has decreased, the mechanic only needs to replace the internal partitions and add homemade dilute sulfuric acid. After doing this, the discarded battery will regain its storage capacity. How do they manage to do this? The answer lies in this specialized battery repair shop in Peshawar. To repair the battery, the first step is to remove the battery cover. Since the original cover and the battery are sealed together by heating, with no screws holding them in place, the mechanic can only use brute force to dismantle it. This process is relatively simple. An ordinary person can learn it after watching it twice. With the combined impact of a hammer and a punch, the battery cover is easily removed. Once disassembled, we see that the battery's interior is cleverly divided into 6 sections, each housing a special plate module. These modules are the heart of the battery. The mechanic's task is to remove these plate modules to prepare them for the next step of refurbishment. Since the battery casing will be reused, it needs to be washed with clean water. After all, the quality of the refurbishment depends entirely on the mechanic's skill and attention to detail. Only by performing each step to perfection can the work be flawless. To ensure that the refurbished battery can be restored to its factory condition, the mechanic cleans it thoroughly before taking out brand new plate modules. To ensure that the new and old materials bond well during the casting process, the mechanic uses a zinc knife to grind the joints. The roughened surface increases the contact area, making the adhesion of new and old parts more secure. Next, the new spines need to be cast. The mechanic skillfully casts them without the need for special molds. Since the new spines are of different lengths, they need to be carefully trimmed with scissors to ensure uniform length. This makes it easier to assemble the plates later. After trimming, the mechanic fetches new separators and begins to assemble them with the plates in order. The separators are usually made of special fiber materials to ensure insulation between the plates. Each module contains 10 positive and 10 negative plates, and a battery requires 6 sets of plates. After stacking, the mechanic clamps the plate module into the mold and pours molten aluminum into the mold, connecting all the plates in series. This ensures that the battery can charge and discharge smoothly during use. The next step is to handle the battery casing. Since the newly made plate modules differ from the original ones, the mechanic decides to change the existing connection method. He fills the connecting holes with baked glue strips and uses heated iron pieces to remake the connectors. Although this method is somewhat primitive, it is a practical and effective solution given the limited equipment and resources. Then, the refurbished plate modules are installed back into the battery. Following the mechanic's actions closely, we see him cleverly using discarded separators as shims on both sides of the plate module. This seemingly simple action has great significance. It effectively prevents the plates from shaking inside the battery, greatly enhancing the battery's stability and safety. Next, these plate modules are connected in series to form a complete circuit. Through the mechanic's skilled operations, the plate modules are quickly and securely fastened together. Since the previous terminals had been cut off, the mechanic needs to cast them back on site. This process is relatively simple. It only requires filling the mold with molten aluminum. At this point, the battery repair work is nearing completion. Due to the lack of advanced connecting equipment, the mechanic has to use heated iron sheets and glue strips for sealing. Although this method is somewhat outdated, its sealing effect is excellent, making the battery and the seal effectively one integrated unit. After completing the sealing work, the mechanic pours homemade electrolyte into the battery. The final step is to charge the battery. Once fully charged, the battery can be used just like a new one. It's truly impressive. Kudos to the Pakistani mechanic's superb craftsmanship.